How do we turn on fat burning in our midlife season? Nutrition. This is one of the biggest things. Crappy nutrition is going to work against you. White sugar, white flour, lots of packaged food. If you're eating a lot of that, you're probably creating an inflammatory environment. And these foods are not nourishing your hormones. They're actually causing an imbalance with, like I said, cortisol and insulin and leptin and ghrelin and other hormones. Hey friend, welcome to the Menopause Makeover. Do you want to lose weight and keep it off? Are you struggling with stubborn weight gain, trying everything but seeing no results? Do you wake up with big ambitions only to feel exhausted and overwhelmed as the day goes on, leaving your own needs last? Hey, I'm Chris. I know exactly what it feels like to battle the perimenopause spread, that frustrating weight gain that seems to come out of nowhere. What used to work for weight loss suddenly stopped, and my hormones left me sleep-deprived, depressed, unmotivated, and anxious, not to mention dealing with relentless hot flashes. I was a busy homeschooling, midlife working mom and health coach, yet I felt lost when it came to my own body. I wanted more energy, less belly fat, and more strength. I felt powerless. Until I found health strategies to work with my hormones, not against them, I couldn't lose weight, and I didn't even feel like myself. In this podcast, you will find out how to stop the weight loss struggle, why your hormones are all over the place, and how to support them, and how to get healthy when you feel lost and alone so that you can feel good in your body again. Grab your sipper, pop in those earbuds, and let's go. Hello, friends, and welcome to the Honeycast. I am so happy to be with you guys today talking about one of my favorite subjects, belly fat. Why is that one of my favorite subjects? Well, number one, there is something you can do about it, and it is a big problem. I love helping you solve problems. So today, I'm going to give you an overview of the 5 reasons you're gaining belly fat over the age of 40. And I'll put the word suddenly. It feels suddenly, like overnight. But honestly, it is a not sudden thing. It is not sudden. It is happening, and I'm excited to give you the information so that you can prevent that, or if you're in the middle of it, you can reverse it. So let's go ahead and jump in. This is not necessarily, I'll take that back. This is one of the number one reasons, but all of these work closely together. But one of the most important things that is contributing to belly fat, especially over 40, is our declining estrogen levels. Estrogen does so many amazing things for us. I never knew estrogen was such a friend to us. And we have estrogen receptors all over our body and our brain. It is necessary for a lot of things. And that's probably for another podcast. But I have really come to appreciate estrogen. And when it is not there, it is hard. I'm just going to tell you. And that is one of the reasons why we start gaining belly fat. So estrogen is responsible for a lot of things, but it is responsible for telling your fat where to go. Estrogen says, hey, distribute this excess fat to her breast, her arms, her rear end, her stomach, her legs, wherever that is. That's what estrogen does. And so when we gain weight previous to our perimenopausal years, it's usually not just in the belly fat or the abdominal area. It's usually pretty much distributed based on your body type. But when you start to notice all of a sudden the belly fat, the muffin top, which I have experienced that, it is a sign that your estrogen is declining, and it is no longer telling your fat to go to those other places. It's actually causing your fat to go to your abdomen. Why? Because estrogen keeps cortisol in check. So estrogen walks out the door. We have higher cortisol levels, not to mention lifestyle factors and nutrition factors that play into that, which we're going to talk about in a second. And then you have a little bit more androgen-friendly environment, that you have less estrogen, more androgen hormones, and those androgens is really what directs that fat to your abdomen, which is where you have a lot of cortisol receptors in our abdomen. So estrogen leaving is a big reason why we are gaining that belly fat. Number 2, increased cortisol levels. So when estrogen is not keeping the cortisol at bay, we have chronic cortisol levels sometimes, which is a continual sign for your body to store fat, for insulin to come on in. And insulin is needed in its proper amount, proper timing, but not all the time because it causes your body to store fat. So that higher cortisol level is something that we want to work on. Number 3, we have higher inflammation when estrogen leaves, when cortisol is elevated, and also from environmental things such as some of the foods we're eating, inflammatory foods, not sleeping, stress, all of those things can cause inflammation. And there could be underlying things going on that you aren't aware of. So the higher inflammation levels also cause us to store more body fat. And it is kind of a negative cycle. And when you have more inflammation, you have more cytokines. When you have more cytokines, that tells your body to store more fat. And it stores it viscerally, which is the dangerous fat. So not only do we want to reduce our belly fat for many reasons, but the main reason is because it is dangerous. That visceral fat, that's fat around your organs, which sets you up for disease. And we do not want that. We want to reduce the visceral fat. Number 4, lack of movement or too much exercise, over-exercise and under-exercise. And I will say this, as we age and as we lose our hormones, we have less energy. A lot of you are experiencing fatigue and you're not sleeping and you just have low level energy. And what happens is that we don't move as much as we used to. We get very sedentary. And so that lack of movement is partly contributing to the belly fat. So what we need to do is we need to get moving. I'm going to give you some solutions here in just a minute, but right now I'm just focusing on the why. Next, we'll talk about over-exercise. Back in the day, I would have done all kinds of cardio work and starving myself to lose any type of weight, and it would have worked for a little bit. But today, over-exercising, too much cardio and too much intense work for a longer period of time, and even not enough intense work for a long period of time, all of those work against us. Why? They increase cortisol levels. What we need is what we called polarized training and weight training. But that's next. Okay, let's talk about lifestyle factors. Stress, what we're eating, our sleep, hormone imbalances. These things also contribute to the belly fat. So when we are not sleeping, we are increasing our cortisol, which is increasing our belly fat, increasing our cravings. When we are not sleeping, we're not getting that restorative restoration. We're not burning fat in the night. We are missing out on our human growth hormone and these things that are very important, not necessarily for anti-aging, but really just for overall health. So all of this is kind of like, I like to say, it's like pieces of a puzzle. And when you get them all dialed in, then you have a better chance of stopping the belly fat increase and turning on fat burning, which is really what is the antidote? It's turning on fat burning. How do we turn on fat burning in our midlife season? Well, it has to do with dealing with your insulin resistance. We want to make your insulin more sensitive. We also want to make sure you're getting adequate nutrition. This is one of the biggest things. Crappy nutrition is going to work against you. White sugar, white flour, lots of packaged food. If you're eating a lot of that, you're probably creating an inflammatory environment. And these foods are not nourishing your hormones. They're actually causing an imbalance with, like I said, cortisol and insulin and leptin and ghrelin and other hormones. So when we start working on all of these and we get these, it feels kind of like we're getting all the plates spinning. But when you get these puzzle pieces consistently dialed in, you can start reversing the belly fat. So one thing that you can consider to deal with the lack of estrogen is to get hormone replacement, bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. It is not directly related to reduction of belly fat. However, it is related to longevity, and it is related to bringing your hormones back into a balanced state. Now, when you're in perimenopause and menopause, technically they're not going to be balanced, but they're going to be supported. And that estrogen and progesterone and testosterone can help you with weight loss. Nutrition. This is so important. I just talked about this. The main things you want to focus on with your nutrition is getting adequate protein. If we're wanting to balance your hormones, if we're wanting to deal with insulin resistance, if you are wanting to reduce inflammation, then we need to get this dialed in. So protein is king. 25 to 30 grams at each meal and snack. The protein is best with 4 hits throughout the day as opposed to 2 main meals with a lot of protein. Your muscles need that feeding. Breakfast, lunch, snack, and dinner. Or maybe it's just breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but you want to make sure that you're getting upwards to around at least 100 grams of protein. It is going to be thermogenic. It is going to help with insulin sensitivity. It is going to help with muscle building, which is key to turning on fat burning. Second, do not avoid those low glycemic carbohydrates. Your thyroid thrives on them. Your hormones thrive on them. Without estrogen, your energy levels are low, and they don't have to be because that's what glucose is for. That's why we need a stand-in. When estrogen is gone, we need a stand-in, and one of the stand-ins is going to be your low glycemic carbohydrates, around 30 to 45 grams at a setting with a meal with your protein and just a little bit of fat, 5 grams of fat or less. Why do we need that fat in there, and why don't we want more fat? We want to do what's called single fueling, which your body will burn through the carbohydrates, it will burn through the protein, it will burn through the fat, then it can start burning your own fat, which is what we want. But when we give our bodies too much of that carbohydrate with too much fat, our body can't burn through it. And so our body will store the fat and not get into our own fat storages. So the low carb is not really working for you in your midlife season. It's actually stressing your body. Next, we want to avoid the snacking and the BLTs. Do you know what those are? Bites, licks, and taste. You would be surprised at how many people I coach. And when I look at their food journal, and I'm having them write down everything that goes in their mouth. It is amazing how many bites, licks, and tastes in between meals is happening. And that does start a digestive process when you're doing that. It's not allowing your body to stay in fat burning mode. It pulls it out of fat burning mode. So we want to avoid the constant grazing or lots of bites in between. Do you get in the kitchen, you just start eating when you're cooking? Now, if you are trying to avoid overeating, grab some cucumbers, whatever. But if you are eating half your meal before you sit down and then you're eating more, you're not doing yourself a good service because your body is not going to be able to burn through all of that. Plants, you guys, plants, fruits and vegetables, legumes, the plant kingdom is your best friend for belly fat reduction. It cleanses your fat cells. It cleanses your muscle cells. It helps you absorb your protein. They are filled with vitamins, nutrients, polyphenols, B vitamins. They're your methylators. They're going to help you methylate, well, detox, and absorb nutrients. They are a must to reduce your belly fat. Next, everyday movement. The magic number is 7K steps. If you aren't counting steps, just make sure you're moving throughout the day. I love to do what's called exercise snack breaks, just kind of like I would a snack. I'm going to get up and I'm going to do something every couple hours, especially if I'm at my desk or I'm coaching a lot throughout the day and I'm not moving a lot. Every 2 hours, I'm going to get up and do some kettlebell swings. 2 more hours, I'm going to do 3 sets of squats. 2 more hours, I may go for a walk or get on my walking pad. 2 more hours, I may do the nitric oxide workout or some yoga or some Pilates, all of that. Dancing, rebounding, vibration plate, walking to the mailbox, cleaning your house, gardening. Everyday movement is so key. It really is key for weight loss as well. It doesn't feel like it's enough, but it is a puzzle piece that is a needle mover. So get your movement in. Another thing that happens, you guys, when you think about it like this, when you get your movement in, your muscles are contracting and they are getting the excess glucose out of your body. It's about muscle contraction. The more muscle contraction on a consistent level throughout the day, the better your blood sugar is going to be, which means the better your insulin is going to be, which also helps you be more insulin sensitive. Weight training over cardio. Weight training is going to be your needle mover because it's going to build muscle. Cardio can actually sometimes burn muscle. The more muscle you have, the better your metabolism, the more that you are turning on fat burning, the more insulin sensitive you become, the stronger you become, and it also is your longevity organ. Your muscles are. So muscle is key. And the way to do that is lift weights, especially heavier weights, and have your protein after your workout and get your adequate protein throughout the day anyway. That is how you can build muscle. It's very difficult to build muscle in midlife. If you're afraid of bulking up, I used to bulk a little bit when I was younger, so I had to back off on some things because I had all my hormones. But now when I hit my late 40s and I was doing weight training, I was also overdoing HIIT workout as well. So when I backed off on that and I started lifting heavy, it was difficult for me to even build. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, what? I used to be able to build and maintain muscle, and now I'm like looking at my muscles going, what is going on? And that is because we lose muscle rapidly, 3 to 10% of our muscle every decade, and it could be more depending on the person. So even someone like me that has worked out all their life, still losing muscle. And so lifting heavy and supplementing with protein, especially the essential amino acids, and I add creatine as well, was a game changer. Within 6 weeks, I could personally tell a difference with my muscle mass. And as I'm coaching women, I am coaching them to get your protein after your workout. And especially if you can do the Trim Healthy essential amino acids or the Optimized Whey protein powders, because they go into your system without activating your insulin pathway, and they are absorbed into your muscles immediately because they're optimized with special amino acids and whatever other science thing they did. And so you don't have to worry about that whey hanging around in your body and being stored as fat because your body couldn't use it all because your muscle cells were too full. So the weight training over cardio is preferable and actually needle mover. And then, of course, working on your stress, working on your sleep, and doing fun things. You guys, the opposite, well, I won't say the opposite. What helps keep cortisol low is oxytocin. We need to create more fun and love and connection and good feelings in your body. And sometimes we have to be very intentional about it. What are some ways to increase oxytocin? Hang out with your grandkids. Think about the things you love. Go for a walk or pet your dog. Get with a friend. Hug your loved ones. Go to the beach, walk on the beach, go to the mountains. What do you love to do? Read a wonderful book, sit down with some tea. What do you delight in? Have sex, have orgasms, all of that. It is physical touch and closeness. It is going to raise those oxytocin levels. So we also want to work on that sleep and working on your circadian rhythm by getting rid of that blue light before bed and getting sleep in the complete dark in a cool room. Going to sleep around the same time every night, waking up around the same time every morning. The first thing you do when you pop out of bed, look at the light. The light will start your body into awake mode. It will actually start cortisol. The light goes in, it helps you wake up, and it helps you with your sleep circadian rhythm. You may need to use some sleep aids. In this season, sleep is difficult. It's because sometimes because of lack of estrogen, because of increased cortisol levels, sometimes it's blood sugar levels. Sometimes it's liver sluggishness. There are things that are keeping us from sleeping, and we're awake at 3 a.m. with a busy mind. We've got to figure out what is going to help. There's tons of sleep aids, and I would start with magnesium glycinate first. I actually have one that I'll put in the show notes that has 7 forms of magnesium that I love. Start with magnesium. You may want to add some other sleep aids or even try some melatonin, but winding down at night is going to be really important. Not to start your evening, at 9:30, 10, working out or cleaning or all the things that you didn't get to do during the day. It's winding down. So that sleep is so important for weight loss. It really is. I can't stress that enough. And the same thing with stress management. We are stressed out. We're a stressed out society. And when we don't have our hormones, we're even more stressed out. And so what are the things that are stressing you out? What can you let go of? What can you control? If we can't control it, we need to let go of it. And then we need to manage our stress in a way. We can do that with deep breathing. We can do that with walks. We can do that with meditation, prayer, journaling, talking to a friend, stopping and resting during the day. Do a little 5-minute yoga move, but you're going to calm down that nervous system. The nervous system gets jumped up, and that's what causes the stress, and that's what causes the cortisol. So all of these things we want to be working on, and maybe it's not all at one time. Maybe start with 1 or 2 things. You get that dialed in, and then we go to the next thing, and then you work on that. And I'm going to tell you, this is going to take time, you guys. I work with women for 6 months at a time, and probably I'm going to guesstimate here, month 3 months, they're finally starting to get less of these things dialed in and starting to see results. 3 months. When I was working with women in their 40s and 30s, it was 6 weeks, 8 weeks. I used to have a 3-month program because we could get results in 3 months. And we're changing our habits. That takes time. So we have to manage our mindset. This is not bad news. It is expectation that this is going to take a lot longer than it used to. And that's okay. We want to release results, and we want to do the work systematically. This is what I teach you, is how to put systems in place to even do all of this. Hormone replacement therapy can also be a game changer. If you're having trouble with brain fog and fatigue and being able to complete a task, maybe look at the hormone replacement therapy. That has been, for me personally, Kiora has been a game changer for me and my I'll even say performance, my energy levels, and my focus. And it is something that can also help with your sleep. That was another thing I was really struggling with. And even when I got on progesterone, I still struggled, but I am doing so much better. But you know what? It's taken me so long to get my sleep dialed in. I mean, I'm talking like years and years and years. And I would not agree with it. I just don't sleep well. Like, I don't say that. I just say my sleep is challenged, and I'm going to do the best that I can with all of these things and use things that are going to help me. And the hormones have actually been super helpful for that as well. So we have a lot of things at our disposal. There's lots of hope. You can turn it around. And I just want to encourage you to put on the long game mindset and to take care of yourself. And if you're in your 40s, please, sister, friend, start now. Do not wait until you're mid-40, late 40s. It's never too late, but it's going to serve you if you start sooner rather than later. So just to recap, the 5 things that are keeping you stuck with belly fat are decreased estrogen levels and what that does to our fat distribution, higher cortisol levels causing more belly fat, which causes, number 3, increased inflammation, which also increases more cortisol and more belly fat. Number 4, lack of movement or too much exercise. Number 5, stress, nutrients that are actually lack of nutrients, lack of sleep, hormonal imbalances. All of these things are contributing to that belly fat. Good news is there's something you can do about it, and you can start today. All right, ladies, before you go, I have to share something that completely changed my life. If you're sick of brain fog, tossing and turning all night, low-level anxiety, or that stubborn weight gain that just won't budge, trust me, I get it. I struggled for years without realizing that bioidentical hormone therapy could be the game changer I was missing. But then I found Kiora, and let me tell you, it's been a total transformation. I'm finally sleeping through the night, no more hot flashes, no more brain fog, and my anxiety is gone. I feel fantastic, and it's all thanks to Kiora's personalized approach to hormone health. Now, just so you know, I've partnered with Kiora because their hormone solutions truly changed my life. As an affiliate, I may earn commissions if you purchase through my link, but I'm sharing this because I genuinely believe in what they offer. Kiora specializes in bioidentical hormone therapy designed just for you, backed by expert care and science. And the best part, they make it easy to get started. Take their quick hormone quiz to find out what your body really needs and start feeling like yourself again. No more guessing games. So don't wait. Click the link in my show notes right now, take the quiz, and see how Kiora can help you finally get your hormones in check. Trust me, your best self is waiting. That's Kiora, Kiaora. Click the link in the show notes and take the quiz and start your journey to balanced hormones today. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If so, would you take 30 seconds and share it with a friend who might be struggling to lose weight in perimenopause or even menopause without confusion and without overwhelm? Also, please leave a quick review for the show on Apple Podcasts. It blesses me to know this podcast is helping you. Time to grab my protein smoothie and head to the pickleball court. I'll meet you back here on Wednesday for another HoneyCast episode. See ya.